After waiting nearly almost a year and a half for this card to officially be revealed, today, May 5th, 2021, is the day that the next-gen card has officially been revealed. We're going to talk about the next-gen card today. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. Today, we are going to be talking about the next-gen card. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the next-gen card has officially been revealed today. The next-gen cars are going to be the Chevy Camaro ZL1, the Ford Mustang GT500, I believe, and the Toyota Camry. The first one we're going to take a look at is the Ford Mustang GT500. All the cars are on the screen, but the first one we're really taking a deep dive into is the Ford Mustang GT500. This car is my favorite one of the three that have been revealed today. It looks mean. It looks really, really slick. We've already seen kind of a sequence of this car and a screenshot of this car already been released that was already leaked. But this car up close looks really, really awesome. It's my favorite one. It looks mean and it looks slick, and I really like this one a lot. The next one is the Chevy Camaro ZL1, and like the Ford Mustang, this is my second favorite one, to be honest with you. It looks mean, it looks slick as well, it's awesome, and I'm definitely looking forward to see this one out on the track as well. It just looks really, really incredible, and I like what I've seen so far in the car. And then finally, the last one is going to be just the regular Toyota Camry. A lot of people are wanting the Toyota Supra to be the car they were going to use, but they are going to be using the Toyota Camry as the car they're going to be using for the next-gen car. And this one, like the other two, this is my least favorite one, to be honest with you. Kind of looks like similar to what the Gen 6 car runs, but this is different, a little bit different as well, and I really like this one a lot. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the changes that are coming to this next-gen car going forward. The first one is that these cars are going to be spec cars. So if they're going to have to buy stuff from companies and stuff, they're not going to be building these cars in-house. No, all the parts are going to be coming from different manufacturers as well, which includes companies like Delora, Goodyear, Hyperco, McLaren, Roush Yates, and Technique, who are going to be supplying a lot of stuff. Technique, I believe, is supplying the chassis for these cars. Hyperco is supplying something else. McLaren, which is really interesting, they're getting involved. They're basically going to be supplying the digital dash as well. So I'm wondering if McLaren maybe at some point is going to eventually get into NASCAR, since they're getting involved in NASCAR in some way. There were a lot of companies involved, but here's some really interesting companies that are getting involved into this as well. These cars, from what you see on images on the screen, they look like they're going to have smaller blades, but that does not mean that these are going to be the official spoilers they're going to use. It looks like they're going to be using different types of spoilers at different types of tracks, and when we get to see those at different types of tracks, that's going to be a thing that's going to be also different as well. But it looks like they have smaller blades as of right now, but that can change as weeks go on, and as we get to determine, as we get closer to this release, we'll probably see more on this car as well. There's something really, really awesome about these, though. These cars are going to have composite bodies, which means that these cars, when you get into the outside wall now, they're not going to basically get wrecked. The tires are basically not going to blow out anymore like they used to. They're basically not going to be blowing out anymore, which is really, really awesome, by the way, as simple as it is. You get into the outside wall with these composite bodies, and they're not really going to run into as many of those problems anymore, because with the current Cup Series cars, they basically have aluminum. If you get into wall, you're probably going to end up at this point basically having a tire have to go down pit road. With the composite bodies, the tires can basically flame out a lot more easier, and that's going to be a really awesome thing to see. The Xfinity Series currently uses this. I believe the ARCA cars use these as well, and we've seen a lot better racing, and we're probably seeing a lot more people wall riding as well. Guys like Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson are going to be able to wall ride with this car as well, which is really, really awesome news as well, by the way. These cars are also going to have symmetrical bodies as well. Symmetry on cars once again. And with there being symmetrical bodies on these cars, that means that while there might be a little bit of side force come out, it is probably almost going to completely remove side force on these cars. You hear my thoughts on side force, and side force is absolutely horrible. Most of you probably know what side force is. I am personally not a fan of side force. If you can remove all side force, it would be really, really cool. With symmetrical bodies being on the cars, it's probably going to get almost, if not all, you're probably going to almost get rid of all of basically the side force issues, and it's going to create better racing, side-by-side racing corners. Of course, you go into corner, if you go side-by-side, you're probably going to be going down the front stretch and stuff. Someone's not going to be able to hold on advantage. Someone has a better run down the straightaways and stuff. They're going to be able to get a run and be able to do stuff with that. So that's really awesome. That's one of my favorite changes coming to cars, symmetrical bodies. Teams, don't mess with the symmetry, please. In NASCAR, if people do mess symmetry and the teams do, please find them or something, because I don't want these messed with. Please do not mess with the bodies, because they look really, really awesome. The next thing is the wheel size. Now, we already know what the wheel size is going to be. They're going to be 18-inch wheel size base, which means that because they're going to be 18-inch wheelbase, there's going to be a single lug nut on the cars Pretty much other motorsports in the world, Formula 1 uses this, IndyCar uses this, and I think in IMSA as well, they use single wheel nuts as well. So they're going to be going to single wheel nut, and the reason is they put 5 wheel nuts, the tires are going to, wheelbases are going to crack. So that's why I'm going to a single wheel nut. At first, I was not a big fan of them going to single wheel nut, but it's really grown on me, to be honest with you. I think it's really cool. They're going to single wheel nut, and this actually will help pit stops as well and improve pit stops in our ways. Of course, you still have to be good in other areas to do good, but single wheel nuts are going to help reduce pit stops by a couple seconds. We might start seeing some pit stops under 10 seconds eventually. It might take a little bit of time for these teams to get used to that, but they'll be going to single wheel nuts as well. Now, one big question around these is the horsepower on these cars. Now, the horsepower currently has not been determined. According to a sheet, they may say that there might be 670 horsepower and 550 horsepower. Again, I would like it to be 750 horsepower. I'd like the horsepower to go up. It looks like they're reducing that, but the Xfinity Series, apparently, they use 650 horsepower, and I guess that they're still running a restricted engine a little bit, it looks like, and the horsepower has not been determined at this current moment. Same with the spoiler, but horsepower will still be determined. We'll find out as time goes on. They're still, currently working on it. I hope it's, one concurrent horsepower running. I'd like it to be 650 horsepower like the Xfinity Series does, because if it's 650 horsepower with it being an unrestricted engine, that's going to make better racing overall, because what we have right now in NASCAR with the current engine that we currently see right now is that basically they have a 900 horsepower engine, but it's down to 550 horsepower. So that's one thing that is really, really important to know. Another thing that also was reported is that these cars are going to be 2 inches off the ground, which means air is going to go under the car, which means that someone behind is going to be able to get a run and have a shot to make a run and move to the inside. And it's also going to remove a lot of that dirty air factor as well, because with the cars being so low to the ground, what does it create, you may ask? It ends up creating dirty air. So this is going to end up removing dirty air off these cars as well. Now, these cars are also supposed to look like what I've seen from the images. They are supposed to look like what you see on the street. And in my opinion, from what I've seen so far, they look pretty close. They, of course, still look like race cars that you see on the track as well. But these cars are supposed to look like what they look like on the street. Like the Chevy Camaro looks like what it does. The Ford Mustang looks pretty cool. And also the Toyota Camry looks really cool as well. Another thing we already know about these cars is these cars are going to have rear diffusers on the cars, which is supposed to basically take out a lot of the dirty air in the cars as well, because it looks like there might be some taller spoilers times as well. That is supposed to, basically, the rear diffuser is supposed to remove some of the dirty air off the car as well. So that's another really interesting thing that comes off of that next-gen car as well. And there's also going to be an independent rear suspension as well. Other things to know about the next-gen car, this is supposed to be putting the hands back in the drivers, and they're basically them being able to drive around, basically have better racing overall as well, because right now you have a lot of the side force and basically dirty air being a big factor in these cars. These cars are supposed to bring back the stock in racing and bring back awesome racing as well. Side by side, bang at pretty much every single track. Supposed to improve racing on the mile and a half. Supposed to improve racing. These cars also look like road course cars and Trans Am cars, which these cars are supposed to look like as well. A lot of drivers have given their thoughts. We had a lot of drivers test these cars so far. Cole Custer, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, who's also currently testing this car, by the way. Bubba Wallace, a lot of drivers. Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, I think, potentially, yes, if I remember correctly. There's been a lot of guys that have tested this car so far, and there are going to be a lot more tests that are going on from here on out. And I would also expect, with this being announced today, I would also expect that you're going to potentially start seeing some tests at other tracks like super speedways. I've heard a rumor that there might be a chance there might be a super speedway test coming up here in September. That is just a rumor. Keep that in mind. But that might be confirmed here really, really soon as well. This car is also supposed to be a cost-saving effort, as while the upkeep of the car at the beginning is supposed to cost a lot more money, and it's going to cost a lot more money for teams to go buy this car at the beginning, because you have to buy all the specs and stuff, and so it's cost like $250,000 for each of the cars at the beginning. Long term, this is supposed to be a cost-saving effort, and that's one reason why you've seen a lot of new teams come to sport. Teams like College Racing are jumping up the Cup full-time next year, who've been jumping in this year. Teams like Live Fast, Trackhouse, and 2311 who have jumped into the NASCAR Cup Series because they see what the next-gen car is going to be available, and there's been other outside teams that are maybe looking at jumping up the Cup. Teams like Junior Motorsports in the NASCAR Xfinity Series that are looking to jump up the Cup as well here in the coming years. Again, I don't know if they're going to be jumping up. The big question is the charters as well. Now, a lot of people are asking about a new engine that's going to be coming to sport and hybrid engines in those cars. Basically, those are going to be coming at some point. I believe that I've been hearing rumors maybe 2023 and maybe delayed back to 2024 as well. So we're probably not going to see a new engine at least for the next couple years. So we're going to be kind of running a similar engine to what we run, but there's also going to be some different specifications as well in the car. So a new engine is coming in the next couple years with hybrid, which is also going to eventually create bigger horsepower as well. I cannot tell you how excited I am, but also nervous about this car as well, because this car is a future sport. This is a car that is going to be around for a very, very long time. I would say that this car is probably going to be around for at least the next decade, if not longer. We're probably not going to be in the other car for a very long time. So for me, I think that the rate, again, I don't expect the racing to be perfect right away. I think that it's going to take time for these teams to get it adjusted right and make it really, really good. But I think we'll see better racing overall as time goes on. I think we could see racing similar to the Xfinity Series. The horsepower is around 650 horsepower, like I'm hoping it is. If the racing is, I think that will create better racing overall. The Xfinity Series package is really, really awesome, and there's a lot of things similar to the Xfinity Series. This is also similar to the Trans Am car as well, so that's really, really awesome news for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to this next-gen car for sure. I'm also really nervous, though, because let me say this. If this next-gen car fails and this next-gen car does not succeed, the future of the sport could be in a lot of trouble overall. We've been going up in ratings the last few weeks, but if the next-gen car fails, we'll probably lose a lot of fans, and a lot of people are not going to be happy. Teams, OEMs, everybody, please do not ruin this car. This car is in really good shape right now. Please, for the love of God, do not ruin this car, because this car needs to stay really, really good for the future of the sport, so we can get teams in the sport and more teams can join the sport long term. And next big question is, what teams are going to be probably the ones that take that next step going forward? The teams that are going to be the top dogs, probably like Hendrick Motorsports will be up there. Joe Gibbs Racing will be a team that is really, really good, among other teams that'll be contenders going forward. But yeah, I can tell you right now, I'm definitely excited for this next-gen car. I'm also nervous, and I really like what I've seen today, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what this next-gen car is going to bring forward going forward here in the next couple years. Also, one thing I forgot to mention as well is that they're actually going to be racing these next-gen cars on iRacing tonight during tonight's Pro Invitational. So we're going to be able to see these cars race in iRacing later tonight, I believe at Darlington National Speedway, because they're running at Darlington this weekend for the iRacing Pro Invitational, as we are in Darlington this weekend for the throwback race as well. They're going to be running this car on the Pro Invitational as well. So that's something we're going to have to watch as well and see if the racing is as good. And hopefully the racing we'll see tonight might be a good direction of what we might be seeing going forward for the next-gen car. So, anyway, that is going to be for today's NASCAR news video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications so you be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below for that, and combo your thoughts on today's video. What are your thoughts about the next-gen car, and how excited are you about the next-gen car, and do you think it is going to promote greater racing or not? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR content. Take care, everybody.